Does this number belong to Tyler's mom, Beth?
Who's this?
I'd totally appreciate if you didn't answer my question with a question, okay? Thanks. Answer my question, now.
Isn't it usually considered polite to tell someone who you are before making aggressive demands when messaging a complete stranger out of the blue?
Huh?
Who are you?
Holy heck, you really are something else. I'm Cindy, your son's girlfriend.
Huh? My son?
Well, to be more specific, I'm actually his ex-girlfriend, but that's your son's fault. Allow me to explain what I mean.
Okay, I'm really not sure what you mean by my son.
What? Do you need me to say his name again? Tyler. Tyler. Your son, Tyler.
And did this son of mine do something to you?
Yes, he did something super duper horrible to me. He used me, tricked me, deceived me, then tossed me aside when he was done with me like some piece of garbage, like some pawn in his sick game. I'm the poor victim who got chewed up and spat out by your son's marriage scam.
Marriage scam?
Your son tricked me into paying him $150,000 as part of some twisted marriage scam.
My son, Tyler, $150,000?
That's what I just said, isn't it? You're his mom, so you must be getting some money from him, right? That's why you need to take responsibility for what he did and make this right.
Responsibility?
Yes, I am telling you to show some sincerity and good faith by way of apology for your son's despicable behavior towards me.
Could you be more specific?
Give me back the $150K he swindled me out of. If you do, I'll consider this whole thing settled and am very kindly willing to not take him to court. Also, I'm pregnant, so you need to take responsibility for that, too.
You're pregnant? I'm just asking this to make sure, but you wouldn't joke about something as serious as my son Tyler getting you pregnant, would you?
Give me a break, like I joke about that. If anything, it seems like I'm the only one taking this seriously. Tyler promised me we were going to get married. I figured if we were going to end up getting married and spending the rest of our lives together, it wouldn't be a big deal for me to lend him the $150K he was asking for. But in spite of that, the moment I told him I was pregnant, he blurts out, "Not my problem," and runs away like some sniveling coward with his tail between his legs.
Wow.
If he agrees to give me back my $150K and be a daddy to this baby growing inside of me, I won't take him to court for marriage scamming me, and I'll agree to marry him. This isn't going away unless you play ball with me, so you better start taking what I'm saying seriously. Think of it this way. If you work with me on this, all of your problems will disappear in a heartbeat. Isn't that an attractive offer? Besides, Beth, this will be your first grandson. From your point of view, I don't think this is a bad offer at all.
The thing is, Cindy, there is no way my Tyler could possibly have done any of the things you're accusing him of.
Is this where you start blabbering about how my son would never do such a thing? You obviously don't know him very well if you think he's some angel who could do no wrong. I get why you want to tell yourself that, but this is reality. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee. I am the victim of his scheme, and as much as you'd like to tell yourself otherwise, I do actually exist. I'm not a dream, and I'm not a ghost. This is reality. That's why you'll be making sure that jerk Tyler takes full responsibility for everything he did to me. I want the $150K he stole from me back, and his hand in marriage. And I ain't budging on this, so don't even try to negotiate or worm your way out on his behalf, because you'll only make things worse for yourself.
I'm sure you can understand that this is all very sudden for me. I need some time to talk things through with my husband. I take it that won't be a problem for you? I'm absolutely certain this is a case of mistaken identity, but it seems like you've been through a rough time of it lately, so let me get definite confirmation so you can move on and go after whoever it was who really hurt you.
And I'm absolutely certain I have the right person, but fine. Once your little family meeting's over, I'll be waiting for my 150K and my wedding. Speak soon.
Vince, I'm sorry to bug you while you're away on business like this. There is something I need to discuss with you urgently.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm currently in the bus en route to the hotel, so I wasn't busy anyway. What's up? Is everything okay?
Listen, someone messaged me out of the blue. Supposedly Tyler scammed some girl out of 150K with some kind of marriage scam, as well as getting her pregnant.
Excuse me? A marriage scam? Pregnancy? Tyler?
Some girl called Cindy messaged me all of a sudden.
Surely it's just some kind of prank. I've heard about this kind of thing on the news before. They call a bunch of people with some dramatic story, citing a random name until they find someone who matches. Tyler couldn't possibly do something like that in the first place. Even if it's not a prank, maybe she's making some kind of misunderstanding. In any case, there's absolutely no way what she's saying is true. At least not with our Tyler.
Right, I'm with you 100%. I try to see the best in people, so I'd like to think she's making some kind of misunderstanding. But the thing is, I don't know anyone called Cindy, and I have no idea how she got my number or knows Tyler's name. I suppose she could have tried her luck with hundreds of people before me, but it still kind of feels too oddly specific to be a random prankster. To tell you the truth, Vince, I'm scared.
Right? Must have given you quite a shock to get bombarded with all that stuff.
Does the name Cindy ring any bells to you?
Nope, nothing. I don't know anyone named Cindy.
I see.
Right, first things first. I'm gonna come home tomorrow. It's probably an overreaction, but I think you should take Tyler and get away from the house for tonight, just in case.
Right, you're right. If Cindy knows this much, she might know where we live, too. I'll call my dad and have him pick us up and take him to my folks' place.
Yeah, good idea. Also, I don't think you should reply to her anymore until we get a better idea of what's actually going on here.
You're right. I'll think about how to proceed from here while keeping an eye on things and seeing how this all plays out. All right, I'm gonna make the preparations for mine and Tyler's emergency evacuation.
Great. If anything happens, you'll let me know immediately.
Thanks, Vince. You're my rock. I'll be in touch when we get to my folks' place.
Be careful.
Hey, Beth? How did last night's family meeting go? I've been waiting for you to message me for ages. What the heck's going on? Do you have any idea how anxious you made me? I've done nothing but worry after what your jerk of a son did to me, and now you're making my head even worse. I was so anxious I cried all night. Look, don't you feel guilty about what you did to me? Hurry up! I want my 150K and my wedding! Hurry up! I sent you a picture of me crying, goddammit! Do you have no heart? How can you ignore the fact that your evil son took advantage of a poor, vulnerable young woman for his own financial gain? You're a disgrace to all mothers. Hurry up and tell Tyler to give me back my 150K and put a goddamn ring on my finger! Beth, you better quit ignoring me right now. Is it any wonder Tyler grew up into the kind of guy who makes girls cry with a mother like you? If you keep dragging this out, my patience and kindness will wear thin, and it won't be 150K you owe me, but 250K. Also, I'll demand the wedding be held abroad on a luxurious tropical island. Is that what you want? For me to increase my demands? Hurry up and drag that scumbag Tyler out of hiding pronto.
Vince, I finally found out Cindy's true identity.
Seriously?
Yep, and that's not all. I also know who she means by Tyler.
Oh?
I want to tell you everything in detail. Do you think maybe you could stop off at my folks' place on the way home from work?
I'll be there!
Hey, I am freaking serious here. Stop ignoring me.
Sorry I kept you waiting, Cindy.
Aha, there you are. You kept me waiting for a whole 3 days. That's it. You leave me no choice but to up the stakes to $250K and a foreign wedding.
Listen, Cindy, here's the thing. Tyler is a 2-year-old girl.
Huh?
The reason I'm so late getting back to you is because I wanted to take some measures to ensure my daughter's safety before I did, so please find it in your heart to forgive me. As for your claim, I wish you would have done a more thorough investigation before bombarding me with your threatening messages.
What are you talking about?
You extracted my phone number out of one of my friends, didn't you?
Huh? One of your friends?
I got a message from her. She told me she gave you my number because you approached her outside kindergarten and fed her your nonsense story about Tyler, my 2-year-old, owing you settlement money. She asked me if I ended up getting any messages from you.
Wait, those moms having an idle chit-chat outside the kindergarten were your friends?
Yes. I told her I had no recollection of anything involving settlement money and that she shouldn't blindly accept suspicious stories involving large sums of money owed to strangers, especially when they involve giving out my private information. But then it dawned on me. She was talking about you, wasn't she, Cindy? When I showed her the photo you sent me, she said it was you, beyond any shadow of a doubt. When I asked in more detail about what exactly happened, she said you approached her just around the time they were all talking about the fact that I was planning on buying Tyler that $15 toy aeroplane that's in all the TV commercials right now for her 3rd birthday.
Wait, what? $15? Not $150,000?
Right.
The aeroplane is a toy? Not a real airplane?
Right, of course. My husband's a huge radio communications and aviation geek, and thanks to him, Tyler's really into planes right now.
What the hell is going on here? That's not my Tyler.
Right, of course she isn't. I'm repeating myself now, but my Tyler is a 2-year-old girl.
I wanted to find Tyler to get my revenge on him for what he did to me, and while I was walking around the neighborhood where the kindergarten is, I overheard some people talking about a Tyler whose mom was going to buy him a $150,000 airplane for his birthday. It sounded like they were talking about a super rich family, and I kept hearing the name Tyler, so I put 2 and 2 together, and I thought it was the scumbag who tricked me.
I see. So the harassment you've been subjecting me to over the last few days was all the result of a misunderstanding you made after mishearing something while walking around town?
I misheard them? Oh my god.
The Tyler you're referring to was your male friend and classmate from back when you were attending college in Seattle, wasn't he? The pampered, spoiled son of a very rich family?
Yes, but wait, how do you know all this?
I think the Tyler you're looking for used to live in our neighborhood.
Really?
I came from out of town, so I didn't know the family personally, but according to what the neighbors tell me, he got a job with a major Japanese YouTube manga company straight after graduating college and hasn't even been in the States for the last 5 years.
What? He left 5 years ago?
Supposedly, he used to come back to visit his family, but hasn't been home at all in the last 2 years, what with everything that's been going on in the world lately. Which means it's safe to say the possibility of you being pregnant with his child is precisely 0.
What?
Which begs the question, what on earth were you trying to accomplish by bombarding me with all of this talk of marriage scams and pregnancy?
I've had it with you. Fine, you're right. Well done, Beth. You figured me out. It was all a lie.
I knew it.
But you should know this is still all Tyler's fault. No matter how much poetry or how many love letters I left in his mailbox, he didn't even have the basic decency to reply to me. No, scratch that. He wouldn't even look at me. And what's worse, he even had the nerve to start dating another girl from our class. The most horrible part of it was she wasn't even nearly as pretty as I am. Don't you think that's horrible?
That's a difficult question to answer given that I wasn't there and don't know the circumstances.
But no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't get him off my mind. Then I remembered how I heard his family home was in your neighborhood one time during class back when I was at college. So I rode 6 hours on the bus to pay him a little visit. But then, what I thought was a piece of blessed fortune, that little tidbit of information I happened across when I heard the moms gossiping outside the kindergarten, was actually a different Tyler all along? I can't believe it.
But listen, Cindy, how was anyone ever possibly going to believe any of this nonsense about marriage scams and pregnancies when you hadn't seen each other in over 5 years?
Well, that's simple. Tyler can't handle his alcohol, so I was just gonna play it off like we hooked up one night when he was wasted and he didn't remember it.
Wow, I'm at a loss for words. This goes beyond a simple misunderstanding. You're dangerous.
Shut your goddamn mouth, old lady!
By the way, Cindy, word has it you've been reported to the police.
The police? Wait, what?
You're outside my house right now, right? I just got a text from one of the neighbors saying they called the cops because they saw a suspicious girl crouched in the bushes with a pair of binoculars outside my house.
Whoa. Why would they do that? No. You need to explain to the cops that this is all a huge misunderstanding. I didn't break any laws.
I'm pretty sure making threats and trying to blackmail people is in fact against the law, Cindy. Despite the fact this ultimately turned out to be an outrageous case of mistaken identity based on a misunderstanding, doesn't mean it was any less scary for me. If my friend hadn't messaged and explained what was going on, I'd still be none the wiser to the truth and most likely be living in terror of what might happen to me and my daughter. I suggest you have a nice friendly chat with the police and calm yourself down. And count yourself lucky if you get off with nothing but a warning this time.
No, I don't want to talk to the cops. What the hell do you think you're doing?
My daughter and I spent the majority of this saga at my parents' house as refugees. When it was finally time to go home after everything had blown over, when I arrived at the house, I was dismayed to find all of my plant pots smashed into little pieces, and the front door covered in shoe marks that made it seem as though someone had been kicking it repeatedly with quite some force. Luckily, we have a door camera, and something tells me you won't be surprised to hear whose rage-contorted face we found on the footage. We swiftly handed the whole recording in at the police station alongside the chat logs of all her threats against me. When I did, without revealing any details, the sheriff told me she was already under investigation for another crime. The police worked their magic, and before Cindy knew it, she was behind bars. Even though it turned out to be a case of mistaken identity in the end, I still felt a strange sense of relief when I heard the news. Vince and I decided to take Tyler and move out of town, just to be safe. Fortunately, Cindy's parents seemed normal, and they agreed to cover all the costs. Me and Father were at her wits' end. We disowned and kicked her out after her third arrest, thinking it would be for her own good in the long run. How wrong we were, is what the message I got from her mom said. Who would have thought something as simple as my daughter's name could have led to such an absurd sequence of events? Reality really is stranger than fiction. But at least now, we finally have peace and quiet, and more importantly, peace of mind.
Hey, Janet, where have you run off to?
Hello, Rita. What did you want to talk about?
I put all the paperwork for tomorrow's presentation on your desk. So I'd like you to go ahead and copy all of those and make enough copies for everyone coming, please.
You want me doing all that today?
There are going to be 21 people attending the proposal meeting, so please make that many copies for me. Even the CEO and a few other higher-ups will be there. So make sure all the papers are properly aligned after copying them and staple them together.
Hold on for a moment. I'm already heading back to my house right now.
Huh? Why are you doing that? You still have a lot of work to do today. You can't just skip work like that without telling anyone.
Didn't you hear that since last week I've started to work shorter shifts here within the company? I know that for normal work weeks you all have to work until 5:30, but as for myself with this new schedule, I'm only needed in the office until 4 p.m. And because of that, I'm sure there are other people in the department there to help you now. So, because of that change to my schedule, I'm not going to be able to do any work for you right now as I'm not in the office.
Well, why don't you just turn around and come back here?
Please don't say such nonsense. I already stamped my time card and everything. I don't want to have to come back in and create an unnecessary problem for HR.
So, you're not even going to listen to what the full-time employee is asking you now? Just because you happen to be older than me and have more years under your belt here doesn't mean you can talk back to me now that you're working part-time practically.
As for the amount of work you have there, that's up to the department manager. So if you find that you have too much work for yourself to do, go talk to them, please.
The department manager is not here right now.
Well, then you can go to another high-up that's currently in the office with you and ask them for their help with the situation. I'm sure they'll be able to help you figure something out. Also, wasn't that task to have all those copies made and then stapled together a task given to you by the department manager? Also, you have only been within this company for 2 months. You are still only considered to be a new hire. So I wouldn't push your luck too much when it comes to the work you're being asked to do. Depending on how well you're able to manage your time and do your job here will ultimately decide where you move up to in the future. And even if you had been here for multiple years now, you trying to push your work off onto another employee like that is a no-go.
Geez, who the hell cares about any of that? Hurry up and get back here so that you can copy these papers for me.
Then you'd like me to call the office right now and tell one of the managers there that you are currently trying to push your work off onto other people?
Huh?
As of right now, I am not supposed to work any overtime when it comes to my schedule. So if I'm to come back to the office and do more work today, I'm going to have to go into overtime, and HR would not be too pleased with that. And at that point, I'd have to explain to them why I came back into work and put more work in. So if you're completely fine with me explaining the reason for clocking back into them, then I'll be back there really soon.
Whatever. I get it now. I'm going to have to do all this work myself now then.
If you're able to do that, then you'd be helping yourself out a lot. I'm heading into the supermarket to get some shopping done now, so I'll have to go.
Who cares? All you are is an old hag that just talked back to one of the full-time employees here. I have proof of that now. Well, just remember that this weekend at the welcoming party for the new CEO, only full-time employees and family members will be allowed to go. So, unfortunately for you, now that you've told me you've switched to working part-time, you won't be able to attend said party anymore. And as for myself, now that I won't have you around me to cause trouble at the party, I'll be able to prove myself to the young and sexy CEO and get him to never forget who I am. But as for yourself, since you can't come to this amazing party, you'll get to spend the day by yourself like any other. Right? You have to understand that now, right? This is something I'm going to be smiling about for a while now. Seriously, it sucks to be an old hag like you. What the hell, Janet? Hey, Janet, what the hell is wrong with you? Why the hell is a part-timer of an old hag here at the CEO's welcoming party? The only people that are allowed to attend today are the full-time employees and the family of the CEO. You leave this place right now.
Rita? Who was the one that said only full-time employees were allowed to come to this party?
Excuse me? Well, it's the CEO's welcoming party, right? You think he'd want part-timers to be showing up to see him on his entrance into the company?
Then tell me why there are other part-time workers here from both other departments in the company and of higher-ups themselves.
What?
I'm sure that with you only having been within this company for a mere 2 months yet, you haven't been able to meet and recognize everyone that works for the company, right? But I'm sure you can tell that some of the other people attending today also work shorter shifts for the company, right? I'd stop it with your shenanigans right now before you start to get others involved that you'd rather not be upset with you.
What the heck? Then those that work in the planning department part-time are not allowed to be here.
Huh?
I, one of the full-time employees for the company, have just decided on that, so get the hell out.
I'm really sorry, Rita, but I have to start talking to some very important people of mine, so I'll be going now.
Huh? Talking to some important people to you? Now, you listen here. Why the hell are you talking with all the executive directors and such now? And what's this with you being able to stand right next to the CEO like that? Do you not understand what your position as a part-timer means here? Also, the dress you're wearing to this kind of party is way too fashionable for you. Don't tell me. Are you trying to become the wife of the CEO or something? This cannot be. I need you to get the hell out of this party, one way or another. I'm the only one that seemed to have noticed this, so I must act now before it's too late for the CEO. You freaking loser! This is what happens when you try to make yourself look good in front of the higher-ups, when all you are is a low-life part-timer.
Rita, what were you trying to do by causing all of this? And why were you just standing there in the back corner of the hallway waiting for me outside of everyone's view? My beautiful white dress is all stained in that red wine you were holding on to.
I made sure that your dress would be ruined on purpose, you know. Now your only choice is to go home and leave all of us alone.
So this was all a part of your plan to get me to leave this party? All because you didn't like the idea of me being here?
That's right. Nobody wants to see you in that ugly-looking dress now, so I'd say your only option is to leave right away.
Well, you have a good point. Especially since I'm drenched and might catch a cold standing in this cold building with only my dress on. I guess I really do have to head home. But I'll be back.
You will not be back, though, is the thing. If you come back here again, I might just have to get myself another glass of wine to pour all over you.
Do you have any idea what others will think when I have to leave?
All that'll happen after you're gone is the party will be able to continue the way it should have without you here. And as for the CEO, he'll no longer have to look at an ugly old hag like you anymore, and can focus on more important matters like myself. So get lost, you loser!
This dress happened to be really important to me, and I had it all prepared for a day like today, as the CEO wanted me to.
Huh?
If he becomes aware, when he becomes aware that this dress he was so excited about is covered in red wine, I'm sure he'll become very sad. Actually, he might become very upset.
Huh? What are you going on about now? Janet, hey, can you please come back to the party? If you don't come back here, I'm going to really be in for something horrible. I didn't know anything about that. I literally never thought that someone like you would actually be the CEO's wife. And the reason for you becoming a part-timer after being a full-timer for so long was because your husband became the new CEO. And in order to have someone around the house more while he'd become more busy, you decided to work less hours for the company. And now that I think about it, the CEO happens to have the same last name as you do. Why did I never notice something like that before? Hey, Janet!
Were you able to talk with the CEO?
He's pissed at me. But I just assumed this whole dang time that the CEO had been single and had no other women. And I never knew that you were the wife of the CEO. Had you just simply told me about that sooner, I would have never had to kick you out of the party today. I had no choice, right?
Rita, I think the problem that you're facing right now is something completely different from what you're thinking.
Huh?
Of course, it's totally unacceptable to pour wine all over the wife of the company's CEO like you did. But even had you not poured wine all over me and kicked me out of the party, you already had a whole lot of problems going on that could not be avoided. I hope you realize that the CEO is not only pissed at you about what happened today, but about plenty of other things that have been piling up, caused by you.
I get that I've screwed up already, so just hurry back here, will ya?
No. I happen to have a plan with the CEO on when I'm to come back to the party. So until that time has come, I'm going to be waiting at home for him to be finished dealing with you.
Why won't you just come back here?
Well, you happen to still be at the party, correct?
Huh?
I have every right to not want to be there while you're still in that building, right? You are a scary girl that thinks it's okay to pour wine all over me on purpose. And I can't be going back there until you're gone for good.
I'm a scary girl? You think I am?
As a matter of fact, right now you've been isolated into another room by some of the men there. And you have to wait in there until your parents arrive from the town to pick you up.
They really went and called my parents on me? I was just trying to get rid of the old hag that was getting in the way of me and the CEO today. Why am I being fired from that company? I told everyone already that the only problem was that I didn't know you were the CEO's wife. Had I just known that one thing, I wouldn't have done anything to you. Also, all I did was spill a small amount of wine on you. My parents have already told me that they'll be paying for your dress to be cleaned for you, so I don't see what the problem is anymore here. You're firing me without any good reason. I could sue your husband for that.
Settle down, Rita. I have something very important to tell you. The fact that you did all that when you haven't even been with the company long enough to consider yourself a proper employee gives this company every right to fire you over that. Also, the fact that you already told me you poured the wine on me on purpose could have the possibility of making the whole situation be taken into the police's hands.
What?
I've been talking with my lawyer about all that happened, and that's what he's told me.
You're talking with a lawyer?
I'm sure when you talk with him, he'll explain everything in a lot more detail to you. But I think you should stop it with all your BS and just let him take care of the situation with you.
But that's... I've already been told I need to pay an out-of-court settlement to you, though. I'm sure that's what the lawyer will be coming to me for then. Not only have I been fired and won't be getting any kind of money for it, I'm going to have to be the one to pay for all that happened. So why is this all happening to me now? I never meant to hurt the CEO's feelings.
On the day of the party, just as I had explained to Rita, her parents were on their way to pick her up from the place and have a talk with the CEO. When they did arrive, I was still waiting at my house, and so my husband handled everything for me. Her parents both apologized for their daughter's actions and then left the party, taking their daughter home with them. After that, her parents then helped us by paying the out-of-court settlement I'd asked for with the help of my lawyer. But this did not fix anything really, as when it came to Rita, she was not able to learn what she'd really done wrong, and only told me a verbal sorry. Because of that, her parents realized that they never raised their daughter well enough if this was how she'd act. And so they forced her to start working for a landscaping company owned by her uncle, where he works her hard. She can't even push her work off onto any of the other workers either, as they're all big men that will not take that kind of crap from some small girl. Actually, due to the fact that her parents had to take out a loan to pay for the settlement, they made sure to put her name on it so that she'd have to pay it off over time. So as of right now, she's having to work every day of the week making money that she's not even allowed to keep, as it goes right into paying off her debt. And with that, she cries and cries and cries, all while trying her best to work a very laborious job with nobody around wanting to help her.